Constable Gabriel Pau says he has incriminating information concerning high-ranking individuals involved in the Budna kidnapping. The PM tells him to step up or shut up. And an American businessman flew into the country on his private jet with a loaded weapon. Tonight, we'll hear how he was able to leave without facing any criminal charges. Plus, the Attorney General, when he was a private attorney, he won the case for women police officers with dreadlocks. Now, the High Command is going after a male officer with locks. So, what does Anthony Sylvester have to say now? Also, we'll take you to the opening of the sugarcane crop in Orange Walk as all sides come together in a time of crisis. We've got details of these and other stories in our newscast for tonight, Monday, January 19th, 2026. Good evening. With your news, I'm Indra Craig.
This newscast is brought to you by Cellular World, your authorized Samsung distributor.
Shop smart for your Samsung devices in Belize and enjoy benefits you won't get anywhere else. When you shop locally for your Samsung, all your devices will be covered by a 1-year local warranty. You won't get that when shopping with the other guys. When in doubt, always look for the Cellular World seal to know you're getting the real deal. Shop with confidence and enjoy your Galaxy knowing that it can be repaired locally at our Samsung Service Center by certified Samsung technicians using original parts and machinery. Even better, enjoy the best LTE experience in Belize, knowing that your Samsung devices are compatible with major local carrier networks. Get the ultimate Samsung Galaxy experience only when you shop from authorized Samsung resellers nationwide.
Haven't updated your information recently? Well, kick off the new year as a winner. RF&G Insurance is giving you a free chance to win every month. Entering is easy. Just chat with us on WhatsApp and update your information. That's it. You'll be automatically entered into our monthly raffle for a chance to win awesome prizes. Don't wait. Message us on WhatsApp and update your info today. RF&G Insurance. It pays to get it right.
Every connection we make is more than just a signal. It's a student unlocking a future through digital education. A young mind daring to dream bigger. Our culture shared with the world in real time. And everyday heroes answering the call of civic duty. When we connect with Digi, we empower Belize.
The Prime Minister's family stands to benefit substantially.
But do you know who doesn't stand to benefit? The Social Security Board and any Belizean worker who depends on them. It's so toxic, board members are resigning rather than voting. But the Social Security Board hasn't said anything. SSB owns more than 30% of BTL. Will they stay silent and allow this deal? Will they allow BTL to take on this massive liability? Will they gamble with your pension, your benefits, your fund? Politicians' families will get the payout, but Belizean workers will get the bill. SSB, don't gamble with what you can't afford to lose.
Yeah, me 3 tongues and contraband.
2 tongues?
All
the tongue?
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see
This is the map of Belize.
Barrier reef and blue hole.
Can anyone volunteer to fight?
I see skies of blue
We want you to see what it is your parents do, how hard they work for you.
Bright, blessed day, the dark, sacred night.
Uncle Cordell.
To myself.
You want chocolate, right? It's fun many times. Lots of work.
What happens when one person decides to make a change? In communities across Belize, we're seeing the answer.
Hi, I'm Kayla Norris. I love being outside and surrounded by nature. When I heard about the national cleanup, I signed up right away. I don't litter, and I help clean up Belize, one piece of trash at a time.
It starts with one choice, one moment, one step towards something better. Across our beautiful country, everyday heroes are making a difference. In just one day, nearly 2,000 volunteers collected over 40,000 pounds of garbage. From local groups to national partners, Belizeans are uniting to protect what we love. Every cleanup, every piece of properly disposed waste, every conversation, it all creates a ripple effect. But we can't just continue to clean up after everybody's mess. Let's prevent it and be proactive, not reactive. Because remember, our Belize, our responsibility. Bini.
Welcome to the V Department Store. We are conveniently located on Coney Drive in Belize City. That's right on Coney Drive in Belize City. At the V Department Store, we offer a wide variety of groceries, cosmetics, kitchen appliances, kitchenware, electronics, and more. We've also recently expanded to the second floor to better meet your household and office furniture needs. We now have a wide variety of furniture, home decor, and accessories. We have a shared vision for a comfortable and customer-friendly shopping experience. Visit us today and be warmly greeted by our reasonable prices and cordial staff. The V Department Store. Experience the ultimate shopping destination.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
Police Constable Gabriel Pau. 1 week ago, the Commissioner of Police asked him to come forward with his evidence about the Budna kidnapping. Tonight, it's the Prime Minister telling him to put up or shut up. Now, if you don't know who Pau is, well, in early December, his attorney wrote to Compol Rosado saying he was being transferred as a punitive measure because, quote, the decision to transfer was made shortly after the constable made known to your office in his capacity as a police officer specific incriminating information concerning high-ranking individuals involved in the highly sensitive Budna kidnapping matter, end quote. Last Monday, the Compol urged him to come forward with the evidence. Pau's attorney put out a release saying, Mr. Pau clarifies that the commissioner's urging for him to come forward is a transparent attempt to gaslight the public and mask a history of systemic suppression and retaliation. The public is well aware that when the police department or the government is accused of wrongdoing, the machinery of the state often shifts from investigation to intimidation. Well, today the PM turned it up one level more, telling Pau he should go to the DPP.
Well, if Officer Pau is making those allegations, then he needs to go to the DPP. And that's his right. And he has, I think, not only a moral but a legal a responsibility to go to the DPP. I think he should stop, just hurling these accusations. He either step up or shut up. And I don't know him. He tried to meet with me. I was unable to meet with him, but I would rather stay away from these things, go to DPP. Now, this is on the issue of setting up an independent type of investigation in Belize. That is in the hands of the Attorney General. It's a long process to be able to learn to ensure that we can do it, that whatever laws we do, that it is going to be done and that it can be managed properly, because we might not do it, the next government might not do it, the third government from now might not use it for political victimization, but who knows in the future, you can never tell. We have to ensure that we have the proper safeguards, that when this is in place, it can only be done for serious investigations that are needed, such as the one, as you claim, with the investigation.
In Powell's press release, he says he has tried to speak with the Compol, his deputy, and, quote, multiple high-ranking and influential government officials. He concludes, quote, the response to these prior attempts to come forward was not a search for truth, but a campaign of inaction. An American businessman who flew into Belize with a firearm was allowed to leave without facing charges. Police today confirmed that a 49-year-old oil executive from Texas flew into Belize on a private jet on January 15th, saying he owned an oil company in Houston and was here for business meetings. But when he was leaving the country on Saturday the 17th, airport security detected a firearm and ammunition in his belongings and took him aside for screening by police stationed at the airport. From there, we are told that calls were made and the matter was escalated to the higher police ranks. The police staff officer told us what happened next.
As it relates to the inquiry, I can confirm that indeed an American national was discovered with a firearm on Saturday at the airport. What I have been advised is that the American national, a businessman, when he had surrendered himself up to the scanning that occurs at the airport, the officers there discovered the firearm. He was placed in detention, and he immediately stated that he was not aware that the firearm was there. It was a oversight on his part. A thorough check was done in relation to the background of this individual via Interpol. Communications were made with the U.S. Embassy, where it was learned that he was not a person of interest in any situation. A decision was made to release him and confiscate the firearm by way of an exercise of a discretion. Now, given that by all indications, I don't believe someone would present themselves to a scanning knowing that they have with them a firearm. The story that he provided was one that was feasible. He was cautioned and reprimanded, and he was allowed to leave. What I will also say is that this individual came into the country on a private flight, I think just a day before, to conduct business.
Observers point out that it's irregular because entering another country with an unlicensed firearm almost always leads to criminal charges and oftentimes remand or a heavy fine. On Friday, you heard the Prime Minister say that the PUC is drafting an SI in order to freeze rates in the telecoms sector, perhaps to provide consumer comfort as the idea of a monopoly is being proposed. An SI means that, unlike a bill or an amendment, it does not have to go to Parliament. The PM told us it was basically already a done deal, but today the AG explained that in most circumstances, his ministry would be in charge of drafting an SI. But up until this morning, well, he told us the matter hasn't been brought to him as yet.
I preface your question just about indicating we are instruction. So we haven't been provided with any replacement thing. So I can't speak to what you're speaking about.
The PM said they would move to do that by this week.
But what I can say is that this matter relating to BTL telemedia, that will be discussed at Cabinet tomorrow. Um, Cabinet has not had the benefit of discussing this matter, so I would not um, wish to comment any further until we've had an opportunity as a cabinet to be able to, 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 to look at the matter collectively.
How does the Prime Minister, as Prime Minister, take part in such discussions given that it's his family who part owns Smart?
So the discussion will take place tomorrow at cabinet, and we don't know what will happen tomorrow. Your question presupposes that the Prime Minister will or will he'll take part in the discussion tomorrow. I don't know. I don't know what will take place tomorrow, and I can't gauge a guess as what will take place tomorrow. And again, I don't want to go down that I don't want to go down what could eventually be a rabbit hole.
And another matter that has not reached his desk as yet is that of Corporal Kenrick Ball's dreadlocks. As we told you, Ball became the first male police officer to wear them. However, the Compol has issued him a warning that the locks have got to go. Back in 2019, female officers were brought up on charges for their hairstyles as well. At that time, Sylvester, in his private practice, was their attorney in that major constitutional case, which ultimately saw the judge ruling in favor of the officers, setting a region-wide precedent. But now, as the AG, which is the government's attorney, what stance will he take? Well, he said he's unable to comment on Ball's case right now.
So the way it works in terms of when an issue arises that requires some legal representation or some legal advice, the respective department or ministry would write to us and request advice. We haven't, that is the Attorney General's ministry, has not received a request for advice or representation on the matter as yet. So we'll not be able to speak about the specifics, but what I can say as it relates to the case that I did when I was in private practice, the Chantelbury case. So that case, the police department had invoked one of its regulation, I think it was Regulation 7, and that regulation provided that as a female, and this is very important to note because that case and the principles were applied relating to how the court would interpret the application of the rule to a female police officer. So a female police officer, they can wear their hair to a certain length. It has to be above the collar. So what you had in those circumstances, the police officers, they demonstrated that, look, notwithstanding that we have in dreadlocks, they could still conform with the rule and not run afoul of the rule. And so what the court had found is that on its face, the rule was not discriminatory. Um, I'm not I'm not too familiar, and again we haven't been seized with the specific facts of the case that you're alluding to, and so I cannot determine or I cannot speak to what may or may not necessarily be the advice that we would offer. But suffice it to say that as it relates to discrimination, the discrimination matters usually are fact sensitive, meaning you have to look at the specific facts before a determination could be made.
Last week, Minister of the Public Service Henry Charles Usher, who is the acting chair of the House Committee for Constitution and Foreign Affairs, explained that the 13th Amendment was being suddenly shelved because the government realized that it could amend the Criminal Control Act instead of the Constitution. The AG said that currently they're in consultations about the next step forward.
The Ministry of Home Affairs and the AG's ministry, we are in consultation in considering this matter. So a final product hasn't been determined as yet as it relates to what will be the next step, and whether that will be an amendment to the criminal code or the crime control or criminal justice act or whatever the case. We haven't decided on that as yet. And so until we've made a decision, a firm decision, I would prefer to not comment any further. But suffice it to say that we all know that the 13th Amendment or the parts of the 13th Amendment those will no longer be pursued.
We'll take a first break now. When we come back, we'll take you to the opening of the 2026 sugar crop and later on tell you who's to blame for a prison inmate that's left paralyzed after he was shot by prison guards. Don't go away.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
When working with sheetrock, you need screws that give you quick penetration for a speedy, stable installation. Best Screws, fast frame and fast finish drywall screws are specifically designed for you. Engineered by Best Manufacturing, Best Screws makes every job faster and easier. These screws offer reliable performance with a superior hold. You also save money due to Best Screws affordability. They are cheaper than the leading brands. Get the job done quickly without compromising on strength. For all your drywall installations, get Best Screws Fast Frame and Fast Finish. Available at Benny's. Quality and savings.
Mother's me. My data done, and I really need to get my order out today.
Really? Well, you can join our Smart Group plan.
Really? How that work?
Easy, let me tell you.
Whether it's family, friends, or your small business, we've got the perfect plan for every group. More members equals more savings, more connections. Smart group plans bring the connectivity you love to you and your circle. No one gets left behind. Explore Share One package option and add on unlimited data, calls, and SMS for the entire group for less than $50 per member. Visit any Smart showroom countrywide or email sales@speednet-wireless.com to sign up today. Smart, bringing people together.
Need to submit your sickness benefit claim online and have a physical medical certificate? Here's how you can do it. First, go to ssbportal.org.bz and log into your My Social Security account. Next, on your dashboard, click Benefits and choose Forms. Review the requirements, then click Continue to proceed. Click Apply under Sickness Benefit to start your claim. Review and confirm your banking information. If it is not correct, select No and follow the steps to update your banking details. If your banking information is correct, select Yes. Next, if your illness is not related to an injury at work, select No and proceed to upload your medical certificate. Select your claim period and confirm your employer details. Read the declarations and click each to agree. Click Submit and you're done. A confirmation email will be sent to you. Your employer will also receive an email with your claim details and a request for your salary information. If needed, submit your sickness benefit claim online and receive real-time status updates.
We've always said that BTL does not fear competition.
They promise that a monopoly will lower your bills. But do you remember the last time BTL was a monopoly?
I am tired of this increase of rate. This is ridiculous. This is outrageous.
It is time for us to stand up together and say enough is enough.
They're done with GOB. They promise a lot of things and they sell it out.
A monopoly that is neither legally bound nor apparently morally inclined to give in.
Lord, as crops, they feel like they could come and lord it over us and we have to stop this fool.
BTL is taking over $90 million in debt to buy Smart. They have to pay that back. And how do you think they will do it? By squeezing you. When there's only one phone company, only one cable provider, and only one internet option, what incentive do they have to charge you less?
The Prime Minister has personally called to persuade board members to support it.
Do you get the politicians you vote for?
The roads of Belize connect us all. Riders, drivers, families, friends. Every day begins with a little routine and the confidence that life's journeys are protected. From school drop-off through the daily grind and everything in between, each with different roads ahead, yet one common goal: to arrive safely. Atlantic Insurance stands with Belize's riders and motorists with affordable protection, support, and peace of mind for the journey ahead. For the roads we share and the lives we protect, Atlantic Insurance is by your side, insuring you from life's unexpected. Atlantic Insurance, insuring you from life's unexpected.
Nando's Wholesale is the distributor for the full line of Badia spices, including the original complete seasoning, the perfect combination of ingredients and spices prepared to enhance the natural flavor of your favorite foods. Also, cinnamon powder for all your desserts, fruits, and beverages, and as special dishes. All these are available in commercial sizes or restaurant packaging. Nando's products are available at your local retailer or contact us at 222-5000. From Corozal to Toledo, Nando's is proud to be serving Belize as its #1 wholesale distributor for over 35 years.
Haven't updated your information recently? Well, kick off the new year as a winner. RF&G Insurance is giving you a free chance to win every month. Entering is easy. Just chat with us on WhatsApp and update your information. That's it. You'll be automatically entered into our monthly raffle for a chance to win awesome prizes. Don't wait. Message us on WhatsApp and update your info today. RF&G Insurance. It pays to get it right.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
Police have made several arrests recently for drug trafficking, and it shows the increasing prevalence of cocaine. The first arrest occurred in Orange Walk Town when they observed a male person attempting to dispose of a bag.
Orange Walk Police have formally arrested and charged Darnell Valentine, a 24-year-old laborer of Half Moon, Key Street, Orange Walk Town, for the offense of possession of controlled drugs with intent to supply. The arresting officer reported that at 12:15 a.m. on 17 January 2026, he was on patrol on Progress Street when his attention was drawn to a male person who was observed throwing away a bag. The bag, when inspected and weighed, was found to contain 2.2 grams of suspected cocaine consisting of 4 small packets.
The second arrest also happened in Orange Walk at a nightclub. Police found the suspected drugs on the victim when he was searched.
Orange Walk Police have formally arrested and charged Henry Mojica, a 22-year-old laborer of August Pine Ridge Village in the Orange Walk district, for the offense of possession of controlled drugs with intent to supply. This arrest follows a search that was conducted on Mojica on Saturday, 17 January 2026 at 11:30 p.m. The arresting officer reported that whilst conducting duties at a nightclub in that jurisdiction, the conduct of Mojica arose suspicion on the part of that officer, and when Mojica was searched, 2 transparent plastic bags containing suspected cocaine was found in his hand, and as a consequence of this, he was charged for possession of controlled drugs with intent to supply, and the suspected cocaine weighed a total of 1.7 grams. Mojica was additionally charged for mischievous act, given that when he was detained, he provided a fictitious name to police.
And on Friday, a minor was detained upon the discovery of drugs at his residence. The youth had attempted to hide the suspected drugs in a laundry basket. ASP Smith gave us more details.
Police have formally arrested and charged a 17-year-old male minor of Farbers Road, Belize City, for the offense of possession of controlled drugs with intent to supply. The arrest of this minor was as a consequence of the execution of a search warrant for drugs at his residence at approximately 3:00 p.m. on Friday, 16 January 2026. The arresting officer reported that upon entering the premises with a view to executing the search warrant, he observed the minor running alongside the side of the house and placing a transparent bag into a closed basket. The basket was searched in the presence of the minor and the adult that was present, and this led to discovery of a transparent plastic bag containing suspected cocaine, which when weighed at the point of processing amounted to 63.96 grams of suspected cocaine.
A shooting outside of Midnight Lounge and Nightclub in Belize City early on Friday morning resulted in several persons being detained. 2 persons were charged for discharging a firearm in public and kept firearms and kept ammunition without a gun license. ASP Smith explained how police investigations led to the detention of these individuals.
Police have arrested and charged 4 persons, 3 males and 1 female, as a consequence of an investigation into a shooting incident that occurred at around 3:00 a.m. on the morning of 16 January 2026 on Newtown Barracks, Belize City. Guadalupe Escalante, 28 years of age, a Belizean laborer of Raccoon Street, and Kenyon Mascal, a 19 years of age Belize City, were jointly charged for the offense of kept firearm without a gun license and kept ammunition without a gun license. Both of these individuals were charged separately for discharging firearm in public. The other individuals who were arrested were Norman Grant, 20 years of age and unemployed of Amara Avenue, and Sherry Card, 31 years of age, a Belizean laborer of Tiger Street, who were both jointly charged for the offense of kept firearm without a gun license and kept ammunition without a gun license. The investigation commenced on the aforementioned date and time when officers were alerted to the sounds of shots being fired on Newtown Barracks. The officers responded and a vehicle of interest was identified, being a red Kia Soul. A search was conducted on that vehicle, which resulted in the discovery of 1.38 revolver, 5 expended shells, and 24 live rounds of .38 ammunition. Mascal and Escalante were charged for the firearm-related offenses in relation to this discovery. The investigators were aware that a second vehicle was involved in this incident, having reviewed footages from Police Control Room and Fusion Center, and at about 1:45 p.m. on 16 January 2026, GI3 personnel, having gathered intel and conducted a covert surveillance, intercepted a black Ford Escape on Tiger Street, believed to be the second vehicle that was involved in the incident. On board that vehicle were Grant and Card, and a search of that vehicle resulted in the discovery of a black in color 9mm Taurus brand pistol and a magazine containing 4 live rounds of 9mm ammunition. Both firearms have since been sealed and submitted to the National Forensic and Science Services Laboratory for testing.
Today in court, Mascal and Escalante pleaded not guilty to discharging a firearm in public and to possession of a firearm and ammunition. Due to the nature of the offences, both men were denied bail and remanded to the Belize Central Prison until February 27th of 2026. Later on Friday, another shooting occurred on Euphrates Avenue at around 8:30 p.m. The victim was walking when he was targeted by 2 persons. ASP Smith says that police are currently working to establish a motive.
Police are investigating the shooting of 25-year-old Justin Gentle, which occurred on Friday, 16 January 2026 at about 8:30 p.m. Officers on patrol were alerted to the sounds of shots being fired in the vicinity of Euphrates Avenue, and an injured Mr. Gentle visited the Precinct 1 police station and reported that he was shot. The officers rendered assistance to Mr. Gentle, and he was ferried to the Carl Hushner Memorial Hospital for medical attention. Mr. Gentle is listed in a stable condition. What the investigators have learned so far is that Mr. Gentle was walking on Euphrates Avenue when two male persons who wore hoodies and face covering fired several shots, which resulted in his injury. The investigators have retrieved several pieces of video footages which have yielded useful information, and those information are now being pursued.
And turning now to other news, the 2026 sugar crop season has officially opened, bringing a spark of optimism to an industry that has been facing severe challenges due to fusarium disease, climate change, and declining production. Jaleesa Roberts has more.
6 months ago, uncertainty hung over Belize's sugar industry. After the close of the 2025 harvest, Farmers Association and mill operators questioned whether another crop season would even be possible. For years, the start of the sugar season has been met with riots, demonstrations, and industry-wide anxiety. But this year, perhaps in an alliance of desperation, it was all hands in the plow. Delisted this, the general manager of BSI explained that despite the optimism, the sugar industry is still not where it needs to be.
And beyond that, we saw cane developing and growing again, but we're expecting more cane this year than we had last year. Last year was a low, we had 900,000 tons. This mill has milled 1.3 million tons in the past, and that's where we want to get back to. But we're reckoning we'll be perhaps a shade over 1 million tons this year. So that is an improvement on last year, but not nearly where we need to get to.
Belize caters to various varieties, but in the new crop year, as a means of expansion, they will be introducing new plantlets.
BSI has been working now for the last 10 years on new varieties, developing new varieties, and I'm delighted that soon, by March, we'll be able to introduce into the industry 750,000 plantlets that have been developed from tissue culture in Florida, which are all for new varieties that we'll be propagating as clean seed to be pushing out into the cane farm, generally across the northern Belizean cane farm. And that will improve the poll of the cane, the amount of sugar in it. It will improve its durability and its resilience to climate change. And it will also, we hope, become a lot more of a stable variety for the industry moving forward.
The sugar crop saw fusarium take over and kill a large portion of the crops. But with resources from the Ministry of Agriculture, it's more or less under control.
Government did invested $500,000 through the Ministry of Agriculture to do a pilot test to see if it will work in terms of arresting fusarium. It worked, and then PM presented to Cabinet a further $2.5 million to continue to arrest fusarium. It was approved, but then the most effective way to arrest the pathogen was to do a growing application. But then the rain started, and we were faced with a new challenge, and there was very little literature to see if we can adapt a new methodology such as aerial application. And we took the risk. With God's help and grace, the aerial application worked. In addition to that, a combination of good weather, good climate have also assisted in terms of reducing. And we practically, I won't say we have managed to arrest fusarium at 100%, but at a satisfactory level, there is still a lot of work that needs to be done.
Even with fusarium being addressed, challenges remain. From climate change to aging cane fields, the focus is now on quality, technology, and resilience to ensure the long-term sustainability of the industry.
Part of the labor, the whole roadmap is to be able to modernize the industry so that our farmers can be able to adapt come up with new varieties of sugar cane that can withstand some of these pests and funguses that we're meeting, and then to be able to improve productivity and the quality of cane. So the better the quality, the better the cane, the more sugar it produces, because it's not about producing quantity but quality. You want sugar cane stocks that have a lot of sugar. So that is the whole thrust of what we're doing. But of course, we have to be able to help them with the science and the technology and the financing. And so the whole plan is working around that. And also to be able to take the Sugar Act and to make certain amendments to be able to modernize that act and to ensure now that the stakeholders are the ones that are in full control.
Julisa Roberts, 7 News.
This is the second time in history that a Prime Minister has attended the opening of season ceremony. In this case, the PM is also the Minister of Agriculture. Last week, we reported on the battle over State Bank Key now going to court as Michael and Melita Finstein have filed proceedings in the Commercial Court of the High Court of Justice in London concerning the State Bank Cruise Port Development Project in Belize. When asked about it, the PM, who approved the acquisition of State Bank Island, said he had no special insight.
Recently, Feinstein lodged a claim in London, a lawsuit over a State Bank. Are you aware of that, and what's your reaction to this?
I am only aware of what I saw on the press. As you know, Mr. Feinstein, it's a private transaction, and so as such, then he feels that if he may need to go to London to take out a lawsuit there, then that's up to him. It's his right as a citizen to be able to take out a lawsuit or do whatever it is, as long as he's acting within the law.
An investigation has been launched into the alleged credit card scams that's said to be occurring in the BPO industry. Red flags were initially raised when Chunsan owner Lee Mark Chang noticed strange cards being used while ordering food via the Chunsan app. After his own internal investigation, he noticed that they were being made from American cards but delivered to BPOs. The BPO industry employs over 20,000 Belizeans, so one would only wonder why so many Belizeans would jeopardize their jobs. The PM said that this activity occurs worldwide, but the FIU is looking into it.
Well, it is unfortunate that this is something that happens all over the world in these BPOs, where people have to give their personal information. And it's unfortunate that some of our employees in these BPOs are scamming. It's a criminal act. I can't tell you to the extent of the investigation is going on, but there's an investigation going on, and I do expect that we can then take corrective actions on how we can be able to fix that. As a government, we have our responsibility to ensure that we can keep these companies here and to be able to protect their interests, because their interest is our interest. We want our young people to be able to have a job. So we're working on that, and certainly with the financial, the FIU intelligence unit, we will continue to work on that.
A 3-hour public consultation was held in Red Bank Village last week, where GOB intends to establish a sanctuary in 2 areas for scarlet macaws. But some villagers are totally against it, and it has caused bitter division in the community. Despite this, the PM says that there needs to be proper communication of the benefits to scarlet macaws.
Minister Abed has not given us an update on that matter, but I do believe that setting up a sanctuary for the scarlet macaw is very important. And I believe that with proper communication, a proper discussion, and discussions with where you can meet the villagers and with the respect, and to make the case why it is important and how they can benefit. I believe if we do that, I think we can be able to convince them that it is in the interest of everyone to have a sanctuary for the scarlet macaw.
After the break, he was sent to prison for 3 months, but after an escape attempt, he will spend a lifetime paralyzed. Tonight, the Ombudsman's opinion on who's to blame. Don't go away.
This newscast is brought to you by Cellular World, your authorized Samsung distributor.
$18 million. That's how much the Bersenio family stands to make from the sale of Smart to BTL.
What is the purpose for the acquisition? Simply to eliminate the competition.
Also, Belizeans get set back 20 years.
You had taxpayers of Belize paid hundreds of millions of dollars, all in the name of promoting competition. And now, with this move, we would be end up right back where we were with a monopoly.
But it's more than just a step back.
It's very nearly treason, because the deal was secretly orchestrated. The family of the Deputy Prime Minister and Michael Ashcroft appear to have been working together and against the government of Belize.
Over 20 years ago, the Brisenios got a secret interconnection agreement from BTL. Now, BTL is going to spend $80 million to buy the company they helped grow.
Michael Ashcroft's cutthroat strategy.
You get the politicians you vote for.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
He was sent to jail for 3 months, but 30-year-old Nairi Parshu will spend a lifetime paralyzed after he was shot by prison guards during an attempted escape. And now the Office of the Ombudsman has concluded that the use of lethal force was unlawful and that systemic failures at the prison contributed to the outcome. According to our Ombudsman's report, Parshu, who was serving a sentence for drug possession and damage to property, attempted to escape on August 12, 2025. At the time, Parshu was housed in the Tango 2 section, a low-security area. On the morning of the incident, Parshu entered an area described by prison officers as a restricted area, though the Ombudsman noted that this zone was not marked with any signage or visible indicators. 3 tower guards reported that they issued verbal warnings and fired warning shots after seeing Parshu in the area. Despite these warnings, Parshu continued toward the perimeter fence. Officers deemed his actions as attempted escape and fired a live round, striking Parshu in the back of his neck. Parshu collapsed and was retrieved by the prison's quick response team, which transported him to the prison medical unit in the back of a pickup truck and then took him to the KHMH. He is now paralyzed as a result of the shooting. The Ombudsman's investigation found that Parshu was unarmed and was unlikely to have had any weapon in his possession. The report concluded that he did not pose a threat of death or serious injury to officers or other inmates. The Ombudsman determined that the use of lethal force was not justified and that non-lethal alternatives were not even provided or exhausted. The Ombudsman also concluded that the officer who fired the shot acted under an unlawful order, and he recommended further legal and disciplinary action, including possible criminal liability. The report also highlighted broader concerns, finding that, as an inmate and ward of the state, Parshu was owed a heightened duty of care. The use of lethal force was disproportionate. The Belize Central Prison failed to provide adequate medical care and casualty handling in the immediate aftermath of the shooting. Systemic deficiencies in training, procedures, infrastructure, and equipment materially contributed to the harmful outcome. The Ombudsman ultimately concluded that Parshu's severe and permanent injury was the result of preventable failures within the prison system. His report was concluded in November, and it was sent to the prison, the Compol, the DPP, and the AG. The 2026 legal year was officially opened today with the customary pageantry and windy speeches. Courtney Menzies was there and has this story.
The opening of 2026's legal year began at the St. John's Anglican Cathedral Church with an ecumenical church service. After that, members of the judiciary paraded to the Supreme Court. The ceremony continued on Regent Street, where the Chief Justice and the Commissioner of Police participated in the inspection of the guard. Following that, CJ Louise Blenman gave her address where she reflected on the past year. She began by highlighting improvements in the civil court.
We have significantly reduced endemic backlogs and have enhanced overall efficiency through targeted case management and the strategic issuance of and implementation of practice directions. Case flow has improved, procedural and trial date certainty strengthened, and disposition timelines shortened. These improvements, however, did not occur in isolation. They were necessitated by the growing demands placed on our civil justice system in the recent years, as increased investment and commercial activity in Belize have been accompanied by a corresponding rise in civil litigation. The judges of the Civil Division have continued to discharge their responsibilities with a high level of competence and commitment. The division is currently served by a small cohort of 6 judges. The demands of this division were such that in March 2025, the decision had to be taken to reassign 1 judge from the criminal division to the civil division to support our backlog reduction initiative. As a direct consequence of the industry and dedication of our judges, the civil division has recorded measurable reductions in backlog cases. There are no longer civil cases as old as 9 years. In fact, there are no cases older than 3 years.
She then looked at the criminal court, which has seen significant improvement deriving from Needham Point Declaration, which was first adopted in October 2023.
I am pleased to report that last year, we continued to achieve exceptional success in advancing our criminal justice reform initiatives. Long-standing backlogs are firmly behind us. Case disposition rates have improved, and long-standing dissonance has been significantly mitigated among justice sector stakeholders. During the last year, the judges in the criminal division of the High Court concluded a total of 224 cases. Of these, approximately 40% were resolved through guilty pleas. And importantly, 65 of these were resolved by way of structured plea agreements conducted in accordance with our Criminal Procedure Plea Discussion and Plea Agreement Act 2024. To date, no appeals have arisen from the plea agreements, underscoring the effectiveness and the benefits of utilizing plea agreements. Importantly, over the past 2 years, there has been a discernible shift in the culture of criminal litigation in Belize, from one that was predominantly adversarial to one that is increasingly collaborative. Collectively, our issuance of practice directions, for example, on structured plea agreements, maximum sentence indication, and other sentencing guidelines has materially improved the disposition of criminal matters in the High Court and enhanced our efficiency and consistency in approaches to criminal adjudication. Notably to date, there has been no appeal arising from the application of these newly issued sentencing guidelines.
Chief Justice Blenman then explained the importance of criminal mediation in the High and Magistrates Court, a pilot project which was implemented last year.
Last year, I had indicated that our Judicial Education Institute, in collaboration with the University of the West Indies Global Campus Belize, provided sensitization to judges, magistrates, and the public and private bar on criminal mediation. We hope to introduce criminal mediation in the High Court and the Magistrates Court for specific offenses. With support from Peace Justice and under the auspices of our Judicial Education Institute, that training culminated in a successful launch of a criminal mediation pilot project in April 2025. We expect that the implementation of criminal mediation will help to further reduce criminal backlog and foster greater use of restorative justice practices in Belize.
Blenman also committed to continuing to implement the recommendations for the declaration in 2026 to further reform Belize's justice system.
Our judiciary's commitment to accountability and continuous improvement, as recommended by the declaration, is further demonstrated by our engagement with the Newscast Point Digital Dashboard, developed by the Caribbean Court of Justice Academy for Law. This dashboard measures and reflects each jurisdiction's level of compliance with the established standards under the Declaration. We have actively participated in the diagnostic phase and contributed meaningfully to the development of the dashboard. We will continue to engage with this endeavor and to ensure that our criminal justice reform initiatives remain aligned with the standards and objectives set by the Declaration.
Courtney Menzies, 7 News.
But all is not as well as it appears to be in her ladyship's realm. The scuttlebutt from within the Bar Association and court staff is that there is growing resentment over the Chief Justice's routinely passing over Belizeans in favor of foreigners for choice jobs within the judicial sector. Magistrates who are part of the judiciary increasingly complain that their courts, where the highest volume of interaction with the public occurs, are ignored and undervalued. The National Elite Basketball League, NEBL, is back and, as announced last week, with an unprecedented $100,000 in the prize kitty. Today at the official press conference to launch the season, the return of the NEBL came with a former commissioner, a minister of state, a new sports council director, and an attorney turned into new commissioner at the head table. The NEBL's Leroy Banner explained that this season is about making watching basketball for families again.
The league has been inactive for some time due to COVID and lack of funding, and we all know that sports is expensive. So with government's commitment and with the team owners who have been around for many years, we believe that we will have a successful season. The aim of this season is to have high-level basketball games with a lot of local players. For far too long, we have a lot of imports. So the way it is structured is that we want to have mostly homegrown talents with a fusion of 3 non-residents. So what we do know that would encourage the fan base to increase, because in addition to having high-level basketball games, we also want to have it to be a family event. We want the product to be family-based. We want to see Civic come back in the 1980s or early 2000s. We know that it will be difficult because there's a disconnect. For far too long, there has been inactivity at the grassroots level. So even though we're starting at the semi-pro level, according to the minister's long-term plan is that they will try to incorporate schools and high schools and primary schools. So eventually now, once the grassroots level increase, then we will have more local grown talent, but we have to begin somewhere, so we are at this level now.
The NEBL season is not starting without some potential rivalry, as the BPBL season is also set to start, only because this league is completely privately owned without support from the government. Minister of State at the Ministry of Youth and Sports, Devin Daly, said basically that the olive branch has been extended in effort to have a united front, but they have chosen otherwise.
In the best interest of the sport, just like what I said in the opening remarks, in the best interest of the sport and the best interest of athletes, we have reached out to any other leagues across the country for us to work together. The Hurricanes is not a part of this league. They decided to do a different venture coming on in the season, but I prefer to look at the glass half full rather than half empty. It's an opportunity for athletes to play the sport that we all love for more months out of the year. But however, I will say that I am challenging the management of that other league for them to come over and have us have a united front, and we can potentially have more than one leagues, but just united.
The season is set to begin on February 20th. Cabinet announced last week that it is supporting the Department of Transport with additional transport officers and vehicles for 24/7 patrols. But tonight, the Ministry of Transportation is urging the public, especially those who want to work as transport officers, to pat the brakes because, quote, while policy support has been granted, funding for this initiative has not yet been identified. As such, recruitment has not commenced at this time. A release says the ministry is actively preparing the framework for implementation. This includes the development of clear eligibility criteria, training standards, and requisite qualifications for prospective applicants. The release adds that once these preparatory processes are completed and funding is secured, the ministry will formally notify the public and provide full details on application procedures and timelines. And that's all we have for you for our newscast tonight. Thanks for watching. With you on news, I'm Indra Craig. Remember, you can find a full transcript of the news at 7newsbelize.com and see the streaming video on our Facebook page. Have a great night and join me back here tomorrow at 6.